Hi guys, I hope I find you well. I've got some exciting news. I know I promised you and I said I'm gonna tell you about something that I just found out. Anyway, it's not something new. To someone it's not something new, but to me it was like really I heard about this thing, but I was just quiet and I was just observing. But I don't know where it came from. I just said, let me just break the news, and here I am. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, you know what to do. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, and like and comment and share. Right, I'll be going through the comments. Today I'm going to talk about the island of Jersey. Guys, there are opportunities there. Companies recruiting from Africa, companies recruiting within UK. People are switching, and there was this rumors you couldn't see. Hey, the Zimbabweans there, they don't want people, they don't want to share the information. Guys, I got the information from the Zimbabweans who are there. Saga, those are lies. They're welcoming. 20 years UK. That's not true. The people there, when I made my post on Facebook, somebody came to my inbox and said I can tell you more about it. And I end up talking to people who recruit, people who are managers, people who does interviews. So if you are new to this channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Abigail, well known as Kira Manyama, and in this channel we talk about everything lifestyle in UK. It was all about my life migrating from Africa, coming to the UK, and now we are navigating how do we live there. And I talk about my journey. Like now I'm studying social work. I was a carer like you, so we're just talking about all those things that yes, you can just upgrade. So I just want to welcome you to my family. I talk about a lot of things, and I've been talking about my lifestyle. I like traveling. You know, recently UK said it has closed recruiting from overseas, and we had nothing to share. I used to share a lot, and I started again the campaign of sharing how to join NHS as I work at NHS. And when the NHS threshold became very low, I slowed down again. So I made the discovery. In fact, it was a revelation. In fact, I don't know what happened yesterday about the island of Jersey. So this is what we want to talk about today. Where is Jersey? Because when I said this, somebody said, "Do you mean the New Jersey in America?" No, it's a small island that is in between France and UK. It's about 14 miles towards France and 100 miles towards the south of England. So the people who are there, they actually say they come to England by a ferry or they can fly. They say using a ferry, it's about 1 hour. So that's where that island is. It's actually small, with a population of about 102,000 people, and the average age of people there is 15 years to 64. So something like Brighton. Those who know Brighton in West Sussex, the age group that is there, according to my research. So, and yeah, it's quite small. So yeah, they were saying, people who are there are actually saying, most people who are actually there, maybe the African people, the most people dominating from Africa are Zimbabweans and Kenyans. And as far as it is in terms of recruiting, many jobs, IT, chef, cleaning, there are so many jobs. So this is the island we're talking about. And which currency do they use? They use the pound, but they actually said it's their own pound, but it is equivalent to the UK pound. So it has got was it 30? There are Jersey people, those who were born there, and British people as well, and the common language used there is English. There are also the Portuguese and the Polish. They are also there. So, but the most dominating one, like I'd say, the British are 31% and 44% are the people from Jersey. And yeah, so that's the demographic background of this small country. Or say, okay, now is it in UK? But basically people say it's actually in UK, but it has got its own government. And But the British one, the UK government, I think they intervene in their foreign affairs. So that's how it is. And ndokanyika kacho ikakandoda kutaura nezvako saka. So when I posted something, somebody came to my inbox akati, even I was there, I know, I switched from UK going there. Apparently you can switch. So I'm going to talk about two types of people who can go to Jersey, right, and work there. And then basically I knew somebody was there, but I never asked anything. But I think he's in the finance, because I also heard that people with other trades, like in accounting people, they are going there, jobs are there. But everyone was saying this. There is a background search that is there, is very strict, which makes it very difficult if you're someone who is not straightforward, someone with, your papers are not okay. Because the one person I spoke to, she's a manager, she does interviews, she does selection, recruitment, and everything at a company. And she was saying, the moment we see that this is fake, you are doomed. So they do thorough background search. If you had your certificate with St. John's or Red Cross, because later on when we started coming here, people were starting to do things which were not okay. They even check the certificate number. They can go to as far as ringing, calling, and asking. So this is the country we are talking about. So when people were saying it's not a walk in the park, that's what they mean. They do thorough searching. But when you are coming from UK, it's quite easy. Even if your house is expired, and you can still stand a chance. And they also want reference. Even from Africa, the reference is very important. 2 years genuine reference, accompanied by 3 months pay slip. To some extent, they even want also your contract. They can ask for anything. Then you should be ready to give them anything that they want. So she was actually telling me that even their home office, they also do that. And when they find out that you have just not been honest, your things are not a fake, straight away you are given 10 years ban. So if you're given 10 years ban now, you can't go back to UK again. You can't. So you need to be very careful when you're considering this, especially the first people that I want to address, those people who want to switch, who are already in UK, who want to go there. So make sure you are doing authentic things, because once you do things that are not authentic, because she was actually telling me there was an incident of a lady who had a reference which had the same surname with her husband, and because of that he got a refusal. You don't want to waste 870. The visa cost 870 pounds to just get a refusal, guys. You cannot afford that. So we should be very careful when you want to do this. But people are going. I spoke to one lady who called me. She said, I left NHS and I went there. And but unfortunately for her, she said, I couldn't. I'm going to tell you why she couldn't stay, or why those are some of the things that has something to do with the living conditions, the expenses. I'm going to give you a breakdown as I was given. I am also going to share with you the companies that are recruiting as well. So from UK, when you're coming from UK, England, whatsoever, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get the permits. So it's something that is doable. Let's talk about someone who's coming from UK. Probably you're on 60 days. And nowadays in UK, it's quite challenging to get switch and all those things. So I want to talk about the person probably who is tight, who is on a pressing situation in UK, and maybe UK is not working for you and you want to try. So I want to talk about someone who want to switch, and what are the requirements for you to switch to go to Jersey, which is possible. And I'm going to tell you which companies are taking, which companies are recruiting, that you can apply and you can have your interview and everything. But they encourage you not to resign wherever you are up until you are there. Yes. So For someone who is already in the UK, it's quite an easy process, which takes up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's all depending anyway with the Home Office. And the requirements will be like, obviously, you are a resident here, and your DBS is also needed, and for 2 years, 2 years reference is what is needed, and not Gmail's professional references, which are traceable. And the way they do it, they actually they send an email accompanied with a phone call. So it's not just something that you can just do mshika. No. And then you can make your application, then you can go through the interview process. Guys, I don't expect those people who've been in care to be failing. On my next video, I'll come with the question they ask. They do thorough stage of your certificates. So the certificates are needed, right? So I was told that they do not consider Florence Academy. You know those things that we did online? Me, I did Care Academy, and was those short courses that they don't want that. Red Cross, even if it is expired, they do consider it. And St. John's, yes, they do consider that one. So now, not as if that is enough, you need also to have NVQs. My NVQ, I've been seeing them. So, but apparently I was being told with someone who recruits from the company. She actually said that even if they are in progress, they will just have to track. Is it true that you have registered? So Munakangwara is just someone who is clever. I'm just gonna mix my language and English as well, because I also have followers who doesn't speak Shona. So you need to have NVQs, even if they are in progress, and write they're in progress. When you write they're in progress, let's say you have registered with what are those institution that does NVQs? Learn Direct, Tutor Care as well. Myself, I used Tutor Care. And also when I also told my Jenny, when I got NHS, I actually said I had not even finished my NVQs, but I said pending NVQs. And so these NVQs are very important, guys. And even I also told you my journey to secure a place at Robert Gordon University, that I also did the same thing. I used my NVQs to secure my application. So even she was telling me that even if when it's pending, it's fine. It can show that you're doing them. So there's no problem in that. So you need to register for that. So you need that NVQs this is from her company and from most of them. So she also said that if you did the one for administering medication, is it RFQ? I forgot the name anyway. If you also do that, you're going to get a senior position there. So most of the places, domiciliary is there. She was saying domiciliary is there, but it is what I call dom manyama. No driving, no craziness. And how can it be crazy driving in an island with just 102,000 people? It simply means it's a small island. So no crazy driving. And she was actually saying from where she's working, they start from 6, they finish at 6. And yes, and more support workers and more care homes. So this is what is there. So yeah, even from the lady I spoke to her, she was it was a supporting agents. So those are the places you can work. So NVQ, it's very, very important. So if you have your Red Cross, if you present it now, make sure that your Red Cross was very genuine, because they do call to confirm if it was genuine. For it now, if your staff are fake, it's going to affect you even here in UK. That's what they do. So the other thing now is also dependence. I'll talk about dependence. I was actually talking, I told you about 2 years reference, no fake. Dependence switching is not impossible for a dependent to move from here and go there. So the dependents, what you can do is switch here into a care visa fast, before you look for a job there. That is the only way you can do it, because they will not take you, even if you have got experience. From what she was saying, even if you have got experience in CAM, So you need to apply from your own country. So that's what I had. And also, when you are working there now, let's say you have acquired a job, you are now there, it's different from here, that you can switch after I can switch as many times as I can. Remember me making a joke says do not switch like a hope. I can switch as many times as I can. So there they say you stay for 6 months before you switch. So when you get a company, you stay there for 6 months before you move to another company, okay? And it's possible to come back to UK again. It doesn't affect anything. And the other thing is also your years, they continue, guys. They continue. So in the island of Jersey, they still getting their indefinite leave to remain at 5 years. In 5 years time. So if you are like me, if we're having 4 years in the UK, then I decide to go to the island of Jersey and do my 1 year, it means by next year I'll be having my indefinite leave to remain there. So that's the other advantage. And so yeah, and also you can do it with your dependents. You can bring even your dependents even here. So that's why I was saying it's an advantage for those people who came into UK after, was it 12 March 2024, when there was that new rule that you cannot bring your dependents, those people who came in UK by then. So if you go to the Jersey now, you can now bring your children, because that rule does not work there. In Jersey, you can bring. So you can switch from here and you go there. But there are consequences. There are things you need to consider that I'm going to talk when I'm going to talk about the lifestyle there and living condition. That are the things that you must consider before you do that decision. And so I was also told that the salary ranges for those who are switching, the salary ranges are £18 to 22. There are other care homes that are paying £22 per hour. So when you hear the figures now, they're high. So somebody was telling me that I heard the figures and I went there running, but I did not hear about the living conditions and also the expenses that you can incur when you are there. So that's the other thing you must know, that it's £18 to 22 to 24 pounds. Yes. So I'm going to tell you about the companies, right, that you can quickly apply. So there is Serenity. Somebody put it on the comments. Serenity. There is also Lahu. I don't know how to pronounce it, but something like that. Lahu. And also we have got Aram Care. We also have Silver Springs Care Home. We also have La Heritage Care Home. We also have Tesh Healthcare. There is also Kingsley Care Home, and also Complete Individual Care, and there's also Island Home Care. So far I've told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've told you 9 companies, guys, that you can switch into, and as long as you've got order. And also, if you are using your Halifax, you are using your Lloyd's, you still continue. That's why I said that one is like UK. You continue with your banking. That's the same banking system. Lloyd's the same thing. Halifax the same thing. HSBC the same thing. So you continue with that. So I told you the visa costs £870. So don't start with the dependents at once. Don't do that. If you want to switch, maybe you can start on your own, but I don't know if you've got kids, maybe you're a single parent or something like that. You also need to consider that, because you need to go there and look for accommodation, guys. So those who are in Zimbabwe, those who are in Angola, those who are in South Africa, those who are in Africa, my fellow Africans, Nigerian, wheresoever you are, the same thing I have said above is almost the same thing. The difference, the same companies here are also taken from Africa. Now the difference that is there is, from Africa, it might take time a little bit of some time, but like it can take a bit of time, but it needs somebody with patience. But they are recruiting. She was actually saying my company is recruiting right now from Africa. We are doing interviews right now. We are taking, but they are strict, guys. So if you are from my country, Zimbabwe, you know, this thing we were laughing and saying, it's over, people no longer do Red Cross and whatever. You can actually go there because they need you to have done that practically, not online. You can do a Red Cross for 2 weeks or whatever. I don't know how long they take if you want to go to Jersey. And if you want to go to Guernsey, there is also another island close to Jersey called Guernsey. But the difference with Guernsey is in Guernsey, there is no, they don't do indefinite leave to remain. So in Guernsey, it's just work permits that can go as far as 8 years. But I think it's better than in Africa, guys, as long as I'm working. So one might ask about dependence jobs. I was told warehouse in Jersey, I was told maybe there's one. So there are things like cleaning companies, shops, and all those things. Those are the jobs that are there. And she was actually saying cleaning is money. You know, she said cleaning is money. So also you can also do your trades, accounts, chef, all those kind of things. They are also there. Especially, I had someone who said he moved to Guernsey as a chef, and he's actually doing now. So those are the things you can do. So there's Guernsey, there is, and the island of Jersey. So in Africa, the process is just the same, but you need English test. The same thing we needed when we were coming to UK. You need English test, your IELTS. You need to write your IELTS. You need to have Red Cross or St. John's if I'm from Zimbabwe, and it should be practically done. And you should have worked for 2 years, and they need experience of 2 years, and with traceable reference that they can call. Right, so they should be able to call on those and ask, did you work there for 2 years? And they can even ask for pay slip where you were working. So they need 3 months pay slip as well. And so anything on your CV written voluntary, remove. They don't consider. She was saying the moment we say voluntary, they don't consider that. You should have worked. Right, so don't do the voluntary ones. You should be someone who have worked. So I've told you, those guys who are in Africa, you should have 2 years experience that is traceable, and you were paid like you were just going to your job. So guys, this is all about, the companies are still the same. So it's now your job to go onto the Google and Google these companies and do your applications, right? And make sure you've got your document. So she was actually telling me that if you are coming from the UK, and if you come and if you lie and lie and lie and lie, you can face the consequences of getting a ban. And after getting a ban, you can't go back to the UK. Then you're going back to Africa. And then fake marriages are not considered. Once you are with someone, you will be staying together. Unlike what other people are doing, you should be together till the second coming of Christ. So guys, I think I've said it all. Let's go into expenses. I'm now on commercial break because I want to talk about expenses, and expenses need me to be on a commercial break, guys. Expenses. You might not be able to just have this popcorns when you're in Jersey. Okay, guys, Jersey is expensive. When people were saying that, I said to myself, okay, London is expensive. So what is that expense that we cannot endure? But when I spoke to the lady I spoke to, she has never been to UK. She came straight from Zimbabwe going to Jersey. She's been there for 4 years. She managed to bring her children after about 3 years. She's also a single mother. She was telling me that 3-bedroom, you cannot bring your children unless you prove that you've got certain amount of money in your account, and also a house. You got a house, and the houses now, I'm going to tell you, a 1-bedroom costs 1,100 roughly. You can actually Google this anyway. 1 bedroom is 1,100, and there is scarce parking. You can tell an island with about 101,000 people. It's such small. And when I was asking about the houses, that are the houses bigger or smaller like the ones in UK? From what I'm hearing, they are quite bigger than the ones in the UK. So now let's talk about land. So there is no much land there. So parking, we'll never have 2 cars in this household. We'll be actually having 1 car, because where are we going to park? Because each car there, from people who were telling me that it's like you pay £150 for parking, even if at your premises. So everybody with a space on their premises, if you see cars there, that she's making money. So it's 150. So at the end of the day, the lady who told me she was in a 1-bedroom apartment, she was paying 1,250. The 150 was for parking a car. And and then the other lady with the 2 children, a boy and a girl, the rental is 2,200 for a 3-bed, 2,300. So yeah, those £18 from the other lady, she was telling me that you can take home around 2.8, between 2.8 to 3,500 you can take home. And also, I don't know if I told you that it's also different from the UK style, that you can do 20 hours somewhere. You don't do that day. There are no external 20 hours, but the dependent is flexible, but you can't do that. You just get your hours from there. If you want overtime, you take from your employer. There's no that flexibility, so take note of that. So if you take overtime, you're taking overtime from your employer. So 2.8 to 3.5, that will include probably some overtime. Cars are expensive to buy there again. And there is also some taxes. There's also water bills and electricity bills, which you can choose to pay quarterly or monthly. The other lady says there was one time I paid £900. I think it was quarterly. She pays quarterly £900. She said that time I'd visit us, but I'm just telling you so that you can weigh. So now, but this system, I think it can work for couples. Yeah, from that other woman, she was telling me, if you are true, I can, yeah, it's doable. And then tax is also dependable. You can negotiate to the extent that you can pay 4% or whatever, 14%, depending. If you've got children, you can negotiate. If you've got more children, the tax can also go down. So those are some of the things that also happens there. The tax can also go down. So yeah, water and electricity can go as around 300, but that's the same thing. I'm just giving you what I was told for a 1-bedroom. She was saying at some point I paid 300 quarterly. So that's quarterly will be 3 months. It may be cheaper because right now I'm paying my water, gas and electricity 250. So 2 bedrooms around 2,000, 3-bedroom around 2.5, like I was saying. So there's this thing that they were talking about, that when getting a house, it depends that your company that you're working for, is it licensed or is it a registered one? So if it's a registered one, this will be expensive. So it's your company is registered, for you to get a accommodation, it will be very expensive. But if it is licensed, it's also cheaper. So, but license, she was saying, is for high income payers, and it's affordable houses and nice houses, they are cheaper. So most companies, they don't have, I think that like sponsorship, something like that. So she's like, havana sponsorship in Havana. So I can sponsorship, no advantage. I'm just giving an example. No advantage of they look at your company, oh, this one is got sponsorship, so you can actually get a cheaper house. So that's how you can get a house. So if you're working for a company without sponsorship, your house, your accommodation will be expensive. So the houses are not small like the ones in UK. So companies have got a privilege if they are registered for their employees. And for those who are coming from Zimbabwe, they were still giving accommodation. You can stay for 1 month in a hotel, and they'll be paying for you till you find your own. So finding your own is not very difficult. So yeah, I spoke about indefinite leave to remain. So that's it. What else did I say? Don't forget TB test if you are coming from Zimbabwe as well. From Africa, TB test is still needed. So these are the things that are needed. The other thing, again, that I want to talk about is hospital are paid. It's different from here. You pay for treatment in the hospitals. So the way you are paid is the way you pay is when you are less than 6 months in Jersey. If you are a newcomer, if you get sick and you go to the hospital, be prepared to be paying £80. Okay, so if you have stayed there for 6 months, now it will be now £40 for the rest of your life. So, and also now I also ask that, so what benefit does this indefinite leave to remain comes with? So from what I heard, it doesn't mean that you'll be exempted from hospital. Hospitals are paid, but schools are not paid. School fees is not paid, and you just pay for your dinner the same way we do here. Childcare, still the same thing. Childcare is also there, like the same way that a 6-year-old cannot walk on his own, a 4-year-old cannot. You need to be accompanied by a parent. Childcare is still there, so you need to consider that. By the way, for you to bring children, she was actually saying the minimum wage should be around 4,000 to 5,000. You should be having 4,000 to 5,000 in your account for you to bring the children. So for you to bring children when they are coming from Zimbabwe, you should work at least a year or so and have that money in your account, and you should prove. And she was actually telling me that it's this sole custody thing there, it's not as difficult as the demands in the UK. So it's something that can work out. And let's talk about food expenses and how is it there. Okay, by the way, she also said if you are on sponsorship as well, you can also visit Jersey. I told you it's just 1 hour by ferry. You can actually go. You just need your BRP. It's like you're going to, not BRP, your driver's license or something. It's like you're going to Wales to Scotland or something like that. So you can actually go and navigate and look for a job on your own and come back. When you're on that cliff, book a small Airbnb and go and look for a job and come back and see how it is. So yeah, parking is scarce, guys. Parking is scarce, and cars are very expensive even to buy. Let's talk about groceries. Groceries. You see, that's why I said you might be eating this popcorn for the last time. Anyway, the groceries, there are 3 major shops in the island of Jersey from what I was told. Coop, Mark and Spencer, and Waitrose. Those are 3 major shops, guys. I'm in UK, but I don't even afford to be making my groceries in Mark and Spencer. So at the end of the day, you might be someone who's no longer eating grapes because you don't afford. So imagine how much you want for you to do groceries in those shops. And also the things like TikTok shops, they don't deliver there. And also AliExpress is very expensive to deliver there. And Amazon is there. Shane can still deliver Amazon and also those kind of things. So you can still be buying your clothes over there or Mark and Spencer. So that's how it is. So just imagine buying your groceries in Mark and Spencer. So Waitrose. You remember me making some jokes about me doing my groceries in Waitrose. So those are the major shops in the island of Jersey. And there's no Lidl, there's no Aldi. So please take note that if you're somebody who was used to be buying groceries in Aldi and Lidl, there's nothing like that. And also, so those are the major shops I say. So I was actually saying to her, since the ferry is 1 hour to come to England, to the south of England, then how about you come here? Some they still have people who are here who can still send them stuff by post. You're saying it's actually cheaper. I was thinking if it was me, guys, if I've gone there, I would be coming after every 3 months in Costco and do my groceries in Costco for £1,000 for whatever and buy everything. Then Mark and Spencer Waitrose is just fruits and whatever, you know. because it's just 1 hour in the ferry. I just come 1 hour, I do my shopping, I go to Stroke and Trend, I buy my meat in bulk, I go back. So she was actually, but the other lady was actually saying it's a nice place. I've never had a problem. I actually also helped some other people to migrate from UK coming here, but just be prepared to be paying that kind of monies. So that's all I had, and I don't think I missed anything, guys. Groceries are expensive, accommodation is expensive. So at the end of the day, probably if you are two of you, imagine you are living in a 3-bedroom like this one. I live in a 3-bedroom. Obviously we pay rent 2.5, then you end up paying other bills. Obviously we end up paying about 3.5. So obviously then we'll save the other money for so don't bring your dependents once. Even when you're switching, you make your life difficult, because you can also be denied visas and you lose your 870. So you need to start to think that, did I save, did I find accommodation? Because they are strict more than in UK to say a boy and a girl. If I have a boy and a girl and me and my husband, we need 3 bedrooms. If I am this and that. So, but it's also an advantage if you go as a family. But I would encourage someone who left children home, guys. What I wanted to say is, guys, I would go there, because there's also life. And she also said there's no life. Social life is a bit, obviously, what else can you expect? It's a bit side. I'll be coming to UK so oftenly, but you can't go to, in as much as it's close to France, you can't go. You still need a visa to go to France. Okay, so I would go, have my indefinite leave. Like now I'm 4 years old in UK. I go there, I get my indefinite fast, probably to the extent of getting the British passport. Once I'm done, then I'm okay. I can navigate. And then Guernsey as well is also there, guys. Aji and Zan, it's never the same with the South, as our own African suffering, to be honest. And especially when it comes to dependence. But you should be someone who have worked very hard to get all those monies, and anytime you're allowed to go back to UK, it doesn't disturb anything. So there's also continuity of your years that you have lived in UK going there. So anytime, she was actually telling me that someone was refused to bring a dependence, being told that you are getting paid this much, so how are you going to pay for your indefinite 3,000 per each child? So you can tell those people are very strict. So yeah, that's all about the island of Jersey and Guernsey as well. There's also farming. I'm told there's also farming. So those who are in Zimbabwe, those who are in Africa, you need genuine reference for 2 years. You need genuine certification. You need to prove everything. You need TB test. You need English test, and give it a try. People are still coming. Go, guys, and build a bigger community. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you the interview questions. Remember, I'm getting this from the source that does that. So I'm going to be telling you on the interview question, guys. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to see you on my next video. Please continue to subscribe, share, click the notification button so that you don't miss out, okay?